Greetings, 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 greetings. The Blacksmith IRL this morning. Got to do some more of these up. Going to work on it. Going to work on a tomahawk or two. Might finish up a couple of these today. Probably this one. I'm going to take a little more of the inside of this off. I've got it pretty good, but still pretty chunky on the inside. So I'm going to round the inside of this up a little more, finish this up. Lots of projects, lots of projects. Tons of stuff going on. Morning to morning. All right. Try to roll these into some of the other stuff we're doing. Believe it, that is going to become a leaf. So we're just going to start with a little piece of, a little cut off piece of 3/8 round stock. And I run a little pointy point on it. The next heat will turn that into something kind of cool. This is an old piece of horseshoeing rasp. And I'm gonna try my hand at a tomahawk today, I think. Battery's dead. Ah, that's better. Step number 2. Greetings, everybody. Hello, hello. Good morning. It's nice and warm in the shop. It's plenty cold outside. I think we're expecting a high of 15 degrees today here in Cody. So this is a good day to have the forge going. So we're going to work on this. This is going to be one of the things I'm going to be giving away to some members. I'm going to start. My goal for the year is before February, I'm going to start a membership program, and we're going to do a knife making course online for members only. And some of the stuff we're going to be giving away are some wall hooks, some knife-shaped objects, and probably some real knives. And we're going to make a series for members. So we'll see how it plays out.
Hello, Moto. Hello, Moto.
My heats are very short until all the material gets heated up. So I can't do a lot of movement of material until everything gets hot. As we go along here, I'll be able to forge more and more as the anvil puts me in a big heat sink and it gets warmed up. The hammer faces get warmed up. The material gets heated up from the inside out. The inside of the forge gets hot. Just makes everything go a lot better. So while that stuff's heating up, I'll show you some of the stuff. These are some I did on one of yesterday's lives. Here's one I finished up on one of yesterday's lives. These are some that are going downtown. The happy little horse faces in them. And here's one I finished up this week, and then my leather guy Joel did the sheath for me. So I'm working on the set down for the tomahawk. So that'll be for the eye. All right. So there's our basic leaf shape on the end of that rod. There's our basic horse shape. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for the likes, everybody. Really appreciate it. Backlight there, don't I? If I can fix that. Oh, that's a little better. So I'm kind of using my anvil face as a measure for this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do something like this in here. Now, I don't know that my forge will get hot enough for me to forge weld this today. So we might go along as far as I can with until forge weld, and I might have to forge weld. Might have to forge weld at the other forge. Okay. I have this cool little tool that I made called a treadle hammer. Right here. Thanks for the likes, everybody. I appreciate it. All right. So there's our leaf. Happy little leaf. Now it kind of looks like a leaf now, but there's something I can do to make it look even more like. We're just drawing that out, drawing that down. Thanks for the likes, everybody. All right, let me find a block of wood. And that's how you really bring a piece of a leaf to life. You got to give it 3 dimensions. And that's how you really bring it to life. Thanks. Hey, thanks for watching. West Yorkshire, England. It's cold here. It's 15 degrees Fahrenheit here this morning. There's our face. Still got a bunch of backlight there, don't I? There, that's better. That's better. You're just drawing that down. So this is a little turning jig I do, made up. And I made it specifically to do these leaves. Goes in here like this. Then what I do is I grab a little water. I can do it over the head of the anvil, over the horn of the anvil, but you can get a pretty good job done with the bed. Yeah, it's just, it goes down in the hardy hole and then it's got a little screw on. You can screw it in and out. All right, so now I'm going to try to square that up, this angle right here. How's everybody doing? I'm gonna have to turn this fan on. It's getting hot in here now all of a sudden. Woo! Warm it up. There we go. That'll help. Anytime you're using like a quench bucket or something, you definitely want to make sure that they're steel. You do not want to use plastic. And that should be fairly obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people use 5-gallon buckets and stuff in their blacksmith shop and then wonder why everything melts. All right. So I'm going to use this other tool. If anybody has any questions or anything, I'd be more than happy to answer for you guys. This is all about educating and doing blacksmithing in real life. This isn't Minecraft. Getting there. Getting there. That little hammer does a little different kind of a job. It's called a crossbeam hammer. Decorative end that keeps the pokey bit from poking through your clothes. There's our happy little leaf hook. These will be given away for members. So I gather up members here. I'm going to build a bunch of stuff up. I'm going to have some special content. I'm going to do some knife making classes for members. Just in the process of getting all that stuff set up right now. Yeah, there you go. Wall hooks. Sitting right there where you guys can see him. Happy little leaf hook. Ye little whale tail. About melting metal? Yeah. Depends the way you can do it. You can actually do it with one of these modified gas forges like this. These little venturi forges don't get hot enough to melt metal, but if you add a little air to them, then they will. Thanks for the likes. Wow, look at all the likes. 28 likes. I appreciate that. Thank you. If you'd like to see more of the work or the content, of course, you can subscribe or go watch my other videos. But if you want to see all the products, you can see that stuff on the Cody Ironworks Etsy store. You can just Google that and it'll come right up. We do all kinds of stuff on there. And when I say we, I mean me and my alter ego, like these fancy drawer pulls. And of course, you've already seen the wall hooks and these wall hooks. And occasionally I'll do a run of hand forged nails. just adds something. Bringing that out, that's hanging on the wall. Just adding 3 dimensions to those just adds a little bit of art to it. So I'm going to try to forge weld this. And I'm going to thin that out so when I fold those together and weld them, hopefully it'll weld a little better. All right, so I'm going to spin you around here so you can see the thread. That's pretty much our finished hook. I might heat it up one more time and just open up that little divot a little bit more. Thanks for the likes, everybody. I really appreciate that. We're going to get ready to forge weld this here. This can get messy. So anything that I don't want to get splashed with molten metal, I'm going to get out of the way. There's our finished hook. Hello. This is the flux that I use, and it's borax powder. Switch to a lighter hammer because I tend to overstrike this, and if you hit this while you're forge welding this too hard, you'll slip your weld. So you got to be very light. It's tricky getting that temperature right. You can see I got that forge cranking. It's about as hot as this little one burner will get. I have a very small hot spot in this forge, and so you got to get your material in there just right. I'm trying to get it just under white hot. I almost want it a lemon color. Can almost tell from the sound if it takes or not, if the weld takes or not. But this is one of those things that you don't want to be doing this and doing something else too, because it takes concentration. You really got to watch what you're doing. Thanks for the likes, everybody. Appreciate it. Steel will get a wet look. It'll look wet on the outside. And so once the outside of the steel looks wet, then I'll wait just a little bit more to make sure that the temperature of the inside of the steel is the same as the outside of the steel. That's why I go in there and I flip that back and forth, because I want to make sure that I got the temperature the same all the way through the steel. rasp is a really good thing to forge weld because of the carbon content in the rasp, it makes them easier to forge weld than mild steel. And because of the teeth on the on the on the on the inside of the rasp, it gives a lot of surface area for that steel to bind to. A little at a time. We're doing a little at a time. I'm welding about that much at a time. I have the coal forge running. I might be able to do it all in maybe 2 heats. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm 36 years. See all this gray whiskers? If you have any questions, I can answer most of them. I've been doing this since 1988 or 89 I started. Don't get in a hurry heating up your metal. Get in a hurry hitting your metal when you bring it out of the forge because it loses its heat so fast. Okay, so it depends on what you're using. So I use a lot of brass rod, just plain old straight brass brazing rod. So you want to anneal this. If you want to watch me do this, I did this whole knife and all of these rivets yesterday on my live stream. You can go watch my live stream and watch me do it. But the trick is to anneal these, and when you get that in there, you drive that in there. Of course, you want to make sure that you round up the ends, and you only want to try to pin about half the thickness of whatever the pin you're doing. So you want to have that proud out there only about half the thickness of your pin. But you can go watch my live stream from yesterday, and you can watch me do. I did this knife and I did another knife. But you want to anneal your material because when they extrude that brass rod or copper rod, it's hard. And so when you go to peening it, it wants to fracture, and the ends get ragged as you're riveting it. So if you anneal it, you won't have that trouble. And run a little countersink into your material to give your your pin a little someplace to go, so you don't crack your handle material. Vehicle springs are. I make a lot of tools out of LTS, light truck spring. It's 51 series steel. It's very strong. And a lot of times, depending on the spring, you don't even have to hard it back because it's so dang hard if you just naturalize it. But you have to anneal it. You have to anneal it to drill it, and to anneal that truck spring is hard. You really got to do a good job. You can go watch my last couple of live streams, and you can see what I'm doing. Almost all the tools that are in here are all made out of truck spring. I use it a lot for tools. This forge will just barely get up to temperature enough to forge weld this. That's a Marlin. And that's a Mini. So I guess they're both Rugers now. I do a few videos with the guns, but they demonetized me, and I'm really scared of getting a strike on my channel. So I'm very careful about doing gun content. YouTube really doesn't like gun content. And I've worked so hard to get that button right there that took me years to get that 100,000 subscriber button. And I'm pretty careful about it. It's a shame that I have to self-moderate. So that's about all the gun content you're going to see, unless you're a member. I do. If you're a member, then I do put a lot more gun content on the private, on the members channel. There's a game called DayZ, and I really enjoy watching DayZ. I've never played it because I don't have a computer. I've always wanted to learn how to play it, but I keep some of the guns that are that you see in DayZ a lot. I got some, not all the guns, but I got quite a few of the guns that you get to use in DayZ. Now it looks like we got that welded up pretty good. So now I can start messing with the final shape of the pump. You want to clean off that anvil face, because anything you put on there and you hammer it, you're going to put that into your steel. So you got to be real Careful about keeping all your stuff clean. No, use a gas forge first. The coal forge is an art unto itself. Doing coal forging, it takes a lot to learn how to do that. And it's really easy to, a coal forge will get really hot. And if you're not paying attention, you'll melt your material. So the good thing about a gas forge is you can set the temperature. So you don't have to worry about burning up your material. Coal forge is a whole nother animal. You can buy the components for these little Venturi forges like this for $100 and build your own. I've been using this one for 5 years, almost 6 years. I need to replace the bricks on it, and I built it. This is you burn your fingers. Almost every day, my shirt has a new hole in it, especially when I'm doing this forge welding like this, because it blows that hot liquid flux all over everything. So I don't burn myself every day, but it happens pretty regularly. Well, let's see. I'm 36 years into this, and I've never worn gloves unless I'm doing something that is so hot that it's burning the bottom of my hands. So, okay. Okay, Joel. Whatever. I've hung out with professional blacksmiths for 36 years, and I've never seen a farrier ever wear a pair of gloves to forge. You can't hang on to your hammer, you'll lose your feel. You don't have to wear gloves when your hands look like that. There, simp. So be off. Go back to your basement. Into the blacksmithing, I started as a farrier, which is a horseshoer. I started taking the course. I apprenticed with a farrier back in 1988. And then I went to school in 1990 and 1994. I've been pretty much doing it full time since then. You do this enough and your body changes. As you can see, my hand is pretty meaty from swinging a hammer every day. But this muscle, from swinging a hammer, your body totally changes. Hammer is to hold at the end of the wood. Well, sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. Depends on what I'm doing. There's no hard and fast rules in this. This is art. You do it any way you want. As long as you're not hurting yourself or hurting somebody else, do it any way you want. I do a lot. My 90% of my business is interior stuff. So I do a lot of wall hooks. I do tons and tons of these hat racks like are hanging here with these hats hanging on them. I do tons and tons of those, tons of wall hooks, tons of interior stuff. Lots and lots of these wall hooks. That's mostly what I do, but I used to do a lot of knives. I used to do a couple hundred knives a year. I talk a lot about the safety stuff when I'm doing this, like on your chisels, falling. And the one thing I always do wear is I do wear glasses, some kind of safety glasses, because you've got hot little shards of metal that are flying around all the time. As these chisels wear down, they spalled off, and you got to be pretty careful of this flying around your shop. I see a lot of novices trying to forge zinc, and you don't ever want to try to forge zinc or anything that's got zinc because it's poisonous. You don't want to run a coal forge in a confined area because you'll carbon monoxide yourself out. So there's some rules, but mostly you do it the way you want. You'll notice that all of my hammers are squares or rectangle shaped. I rectangle up all my hammer handles. I don't leave them round. 35 years of swinging a hammer every day, or 36 years. I don't have much tinnitus, and I still have a lot of my grip strength, and that's because I square up all my hammer handles. But if you want to get good, it's like anything. You have to spend the time doing it. Now that I'm fairly certain that I got that welded, I can start shaping the end of it. Yeah, it's very hot. It's just a couple hundred degrees below being molten. Yeah, the camera doesn't, you really can't tell how hot it is in the camera because it overexposes it. Thank you, appreciate that. Thanks. Yes. Like I just said, my shirts, every shirt I have has holes in it from flying sparks. Might not get this one done today, but I can show you one that I've done. So this is kind of what we're going for. We're going for a different style than this. This one has a forged in bit in it. You can see where I forge welded the bit in it, right there. And there. So that's what we're going for today, or something like this. I'm changing out the style a little bit, but we're going to do a little, this is kind of a Viking style with this beard on it. We're going to do more of an Indian style one. Just like that, it's one piece of steel. There's a little term called forged to finish. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the final forging as close to the finished shape as I can, and that eliminates a lot of grinding and sanding and all of that polishing stuff. So YouTube is the way to learn. You know, I started back in the mid 80s when there was no internet, but there's so many good blacksmithing channels now on here. I'd like to think that I'm one of the better ones, but I'm eclectic. I don't I don't I don't edit. I'm a Luddite. I don't even own a computer. This is all on my phone. My whole channel, almost 115,000 subscribers, and I do it with my phone. So, but if you just go back, you can just go back and watch the shorts and learn a lot of what I do here. But there are classes around. There's lots of organizations. There's blacksmithing associations all over the United States. And if you're really getting into it, a blacksmithing association probably wouldn't be a bad thing to learn or to join. Now I could probably, at this point, I could probably throw something else in the forge and work on something else too, but one thing at a time when I'm doing this. If I'm doing wall hook or something, it's not that big of a deal, but it's kind of critical that I keep the temperature of this. And you're throwing cold and hot pieces of steel into the forge, and your forge temperature goes up and down, up and down, up and down. So I'm trying to maintain a nice, even temperature in the forge. So, and I don't let that material get too cold before I put it back in there. I honestly think that YouTube will I honestly think that YouTube will probably replace a lot of college. Because if you can't learn it on YouTube now, you're not going to be able to learn it. It's such a valuable resource. You're just about there. I'm going to clean up the edges a little bit, and then I'll drift open the eye, and we'll see what my forge weld looks like. I don't speak Cyrillic. I guess that's Cyrillic. Thanks for sticking with. Thanks for all the likes. I appreciate it. Thanks for everybody to coming in. This is a weird time to do a live stream, Saturday afternoon. Pretty happy with that. Starting to look like a tomahawk now. So any of you late arrivals, this is what we're building. Something like this. It isn't going to be quite shaped like this. Pretty close. Let's work on the eye. You grab a tool. That's what we're making. Here's the drift. It's a process. It's called flux. It's borium, uh, uh, 20 mule team borax is what it is. You buy it in the box. It works as a flux. It keeps the oxygen from interacting with the air in the forge. So when you weld that together, it sticks. It's like what's on the outside of welding rod. That's a Mini 14. That's a Marlin 1894. Just like in Dave Z. So this other anvil has a huge hardy hole in it. So what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to use that hole right there. Drive this drift. once we get it all hot. And that's how you make a tomahawk, folks. Now we just got to fiddle around with the. Now we just got to fiddle around with the. Eye. That's where the vise comes in. We got to make sure that this stays cool so we can handle it. Well, everybody's got an opinion. I like American-made guns, and I don't like plastic guns. When I was a kid, the first rifle I ever shot that was actually a rifle was an M1 carbine. And one of my uncles was a Marine recon in Korea, and he carried an M1 carbine. And essentially that Ruger right there is about as close to an M1 carbine as you can get, except it shoots a different cartridge. But the actuation and everything is exactly the same. So that's my homage to one of my uncles. Because to buy an M1 now is ridiculous, the price of. It's hot. We're just about there. You don't think that doesn't get hot? Woo! Like the fit. Looking good. When I get this tomahawk done, it'll probably be on the Etsy store. So if this is something that you're interested in seeing, or if you follow me on Instagram, there'll be pictures, or YouTube. I will definitely be doing more videos on YouTube of it. Do not pick that up barehanded, I can tell you that. It's plenty hot. And once I get this looking the way I want, what I'll do is I'll put it in this can of vermiculite. This is insulation. And I'll bury it in here. Then I'll let it cool. It'll take 6 hours for that to cool down. Then I'll grind on it, and then I'll harden up the edge on it. That's how we do it. But if you want to know why they're $150, that's why. Because there is a lot of work. You don't just go down to Ace Hardware and buy these handles. Thanks for the likes, everybody. I hope I'm getting some subscribers today. That'd be great. Just for hugs and tickles, I'm going to take a little piece of brazen rod, and where that weld is, I'm going to drop a piece of brazen rod in there, and that'll help hold that where I forge welded that together, that'll help hold that together. Let it get up to temperature now. By chance, were you a farrier? Yeah, I was. I was a farrier for 28 years, and then I did the blacksmithing on the side. But you outgrow that horseshoeing thing after a while. My old back can't handle it. That's about it. I'll take that out. I'll put it in the vermiculite. We'll let it cool down for a few hours. Then I'll come back this evening and I'll harden up the edge after I dress it all down and make it look pretty like this one. Got to make sure it's all the same color. We got to get it up to temperature where it's all the same because we don't want any hot and cold spots in it. There we go. Thanks for the likes. If you want to see this getting forged, you were on Forged in Fire and took third place. No, I've turned down Forged in Fire twice. I've turned them down twice. They wanted me to do it before COVID, and then they wanted me to do it during COVID, and I turned them down. I'm not. I have no desire to ruin my life with that bull menagerie. Yep. All right. Any other questions? Come back later after that cools down this evening, and I'll be finishing it up, and we'll be doing something like this. I think I've got one more. I think I've got one more handle. I think I've got one more of these tomahawk handles made up, and so we might even be able to get it hardened tonight. Get it hardened and finished. So this is more of a Viking style one. The one I'm going in here, that's more of an Indian style one, Native American style one. So no, I talked to the Forge and Fire producer twice, and there was a guy over in Powell who bought some tools from me years ago, and he was on it, and it wrecked him. You know, the thing about Forged and Fire is you only get paid if you win. And they always want you to build some stupid thing that I've never built, like a halberd or swords. And I don't want to build swords. I have no desire to build swords. And if I build a sword and I go on Forge and Fire, then I got a bunch of people coming to me and want me to build swords. And I don't want to build a sword. The biggest knife I build will fit in my forge. I don't want to have a bunch of specialty tools. This is about as big as I do. I've got a 3-burner forge. This will fit in a 3-burner forge. This will fit in the oil bath that I have in my oil quench tank. And anything bigger than this, it won't fit in there. So this is as big as I'm doing. I don't want to have a bunch of specialty tools. I don't want to have people calling me for wedding cake cutting knives or yeah, no, I don't want to do it. I'm plenty busy. And the last place I want to be is on a film set with 5 other guys with a producer trying to generate chaos. I have a little experience with being on TV from years ago with my ex-wife. And I don't want to do that again. So I'll just stick to building what I know how to do. And I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you for free on the YouTubes. Any other questions? If you want to see more Instagram, I got a big channel on TikTok too, but that looks like it's about to go away. I am going to start a subscription. We're going to start doing knife making classes on here, and probably basic. I'm going to do 2 different classes. I'm going to offer in the spring here, as soon as the weather breaks out of here, I'm going to do Forging for the Apocalypse, where I teach you how to build tools, forges, chisels, all the tools that you need. And then I'm going to do a knife making series. So subscribe to AKOS. I have no idea what that means. 2A KOS. 2A, I know what that is. All right, everybody, I'm going to go grab me some lunch and let that cool down. And I'm probably going to finish up some of this stuff that I did from this morning. Did you guys see the stuff I did this morning? We did a couple of these up. We did this up. This is going to get given away as I'm doing a bunch of these up for prizes for the memberships with the channel. The membership, it's going to get you coffee cups. It's going to give you on the t-shirts and the coffee cups with the new logo on it. This is the old logo. We're going to start that up here now. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day. If you're interested in this, I did 2 live streams yesterday, and I did one the day before. I tried to keep them about 2 hours. This one went pretty long because we were working on that tomahawk. But I got a lot of content out there. I've got almost 1,200 videos. So thanks, everybody. Get hot and hit it. Always wear your safety squinch. If you like the content, subscribe. We'll catch you later.